Hi guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through my AFL tips for round 6 as well as reviewing my tips from round 5 and seeing how well I went. So before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see here, these are my tips from last round. If I go through them, I have the actual numbers on like the predictions down here below. So for the first game I went Adelaide by 15, and as you can see here, it was the margin game, so the actual margin was 56, so I was 41 points off on that. Then here was a good tip. I went Freo by 9, they ended up winning by 10, and the Swans I tipped by 20, and if Richmond didn't decide to not play for about 5 minutes, that would have been pretty close. But it ended up being, 44 points, so double my prediction. Then I was really off on this one. I thought this one would be a lower scoring game because I thought with the way Clarkson's set up, he'd be able to keep the scoring down. So I said Brisbane by only 13, but it ended up, 75 points. And then I ended up tipping Melbourne by 35, and they lost by 27, so that wasn't a good tip. I tipped Western Bulldogs by 20, and they ended up losing by 14, so another not good tip. So the late game Saturdays was not... The whole Saturday wasn't really a good tipping for me if you wanted to include the margins. I got off on all three. And then Sunday I tipped Geelong by 58, and they ended up winning by... 47, I want to say? I think it's 47. Then you have... I tipped GWS by 11, and they won by 2, so another good tip there. And then I thought this one was not the worst underdog tip to go against here, and I tipped St Kilda by 18. Probably was a little bit too high on them winning, I guess, by a long margin. I should have probably tipped a little bit closer, but luckily it wasn't a margin game, this one, so them losing by 6 wasn't too bad, and they could have honestly won that game if we're being honest. So next round we have here, we got to start off Freo against Western Bulldogs. I am tipping, to be honest with you, Freo haven't looked good at all, and I'm waiting for Andy Brayshaw to pick it up, because he's got an injury, and I'm waiting for him to pick it up, and I just don't know if they actually pick it up in this game. And I think Bont is trying to will his team on, and I think him and English just sort of dominate in this game. I know English is coming up against a very tough ruck assignment in Darcy and Jackson, but I think he can win the ruck department here, and I think I am going to tip Western Bulldogs by, I think, 12 or 13, so we'll go 12. And then we'll put 12 in here, and then we'll go over to here and tip him by 12. Okay. Next game is Port versus West Coast Eagles. I think Port are going to win this game. It's just a matter of how many, and I think we're going to see an absolute smashing here, because I think West Coast only have about 2 fit players that will play in the twos, or even 1 or 2. It might even be 1. I think they're down to 24 fit players at the moment, and it doesn't look like Hearn's going to get up. Doesn't look like Ned Long's going to get up, and they're losing about 5 or 6 per week. So if they have another couple of injuries, they might not have enough players to fit back, especially because a lot of the players that are out are coming 3 or 4 weeks out. They're not returning immediately. So I'm going Port in a huge margin of 60 points. I don't think West Coast have anything left, especially because I don't think they'll play... whoopsie, almost went the wrong way. I don't think they'll have Jimby in the midfield. I don't think they can have him in the midfield, else he is going to tire out, and he's going to have to be rested next week if you have him in the midfield again. So I think they have to put him down back or on the wing, and that'll just help him out a little bit. Brisbane Lions versus GWS. I'm going to pick Brisbane. I think GWS has been competitive, but I think Brisbane's found that next gear that we've been looking for, and I think they'll win this one pretty convincingly by... I'm going to say 40 points here. So if we go over here and tip Brisbane by 40 points, and then you come down to the matchup that, this is a tough one, because it's hard to tip and be, I guess, not a little bit biased when your team's coming up here. And I see the to and fro's of if Sydney had McCartans and just another key defender ready, I think I'd be tipping the Swans here by like 10 or so. But I think it's at GMHBA. Geelong found something in that second quarter, and then I don't think they find much of a way, the Swans, to stop Jeremy Cameron that well. So it's unless Will Gould plays and then you makeshift Aaron Francis down back or something like that. I don't see a way in which they can defend, because I think you'll see a lot of changes, because I don't think they can put Harry Cunningham and Robbie Fox as like the tallest guys down back. I think they're going to have to put Will Gould and Aaron Francis down back this week and just hope that they can defend on Hawkins and Cameron, but I don't think they'll do that well. So I'm going to pick Geelong. I'm sort of picking Geelong because if it is Geelong that wins against the Swans, it will look like a half decent pick. But if it's the Swans win, then it's my team wins and I'm going to be happy. So I'm going to pick Geelong in a tight one by 10 points. And then you have here Hawthorn versus Adelaide. Adelaide are going to win this one, I think. Yes, Hawthorn have been winning the number one for centre clearances or whatever, but they have nothing outside of that. Their defence is in shambles. Their attack is absolutely shocking at this point. Don't know what that is. So I just think Adelaide are going to win this. Adelaide could even win the centre clearances. That's how deadly they've been in centre clearances in the last couple of weeks, with Rochelle and other people coming in and going up the CBA percentage. So I think Adelaide's going to win this by 6 goals, 36 points. So let's do that. And then we have Carlton versus St Kilda, huge grudge match, and I don't know. I've temporarily put a C down as if I'm going to go for Carlton, but I actually have to think this one through, because Carlton have the two key forwards, obviously, but Wilkie is having, in my opinion, an all-Australian year at the moment with the way he's defending. So I think he's going to be able to nullify one. Do I think that St Kilda's run from the back is going to be good enough to basically be able to counteract and transition defense into offense? I think they'll be able to actually withstand Carlton's many inside 50s. I think even with Walsh back, they don't have Doherty in defense and midfield, so another bigger body. So I think, and Tim Membry is going to kick a bag because he always kicks a bag against Carlton. I just think St Kilda win this by, it's going to be a close one. I'm going to say by 7 points. So if we tip over here, 7 points. And then you have Gold Coast versus North Melbourne, and everyone's going Gold Coast, but Simpkins out, but they have Will Phillips. Do I think that North have hit a reality here? Probably so. And do I think Tuke's going to have a turn of form? I do think so. So I think you got to probably go Gold Coast by 9 points, I'm going to say. I think it will be a very, very close one. I don't think it will be high scoring. So Gold Coast by 9 points. And then Melbourne versus Richmond. You got Melbourne, I think, are going to look to try and bounce back after their loss. And Richmond are so badly injured that I don't even know who's going to... who even comes back. I don't think they have anyone coming back, and their key position players are just going to get outmatched. And I think the Gawn-Grundy combination is going to go huge against Samson, Ryan and Miller, and they're probably both even going to have 100-point AFL fantasy returns. I think that's my call of the week, is Grundy and Gawn, if they both play, to go 100 plus. But if Grundy's the only one that plays, he'll go 110 plus. So I'm going to pick Melbourne by 47 points, I think. Melbourne by 47. There we go. And then you got Collingwood versus Essendon. And I think with the with Merritt coming out of the side and Hobbs most likely coming into the side, with teams dropping... Team will drop like, Saturday night for this game or something? I don't even know. We'll see. Collingwood will win this game by, I think, we'll see him win by I think we'll see Collingwood honestly win this game by like 13 points. I think it will be a close game. I'm thinking Collingwood by 13. And there is the ladder that I've got for round that I've got for this round being finished. St Kilda on top 5-1, Collingwood 5-1, Melbourne 4-2, Adelaide 4-2, Essendon 4-2, Brisbane 4-2, Port 4-2, Carlton 3-1, and Swans and Geelong 3-3, as well as the Western Bulldogs. And then you have a heap of teams on 2-4, and there's a lot of teams. And then Richmond is somehow still 6 games, 6 points. So they're looking at a downer season with my predictions. And the only real difference I could see possibly happening is the Swans going to 4-2 and jumping up to the 4th in here. But that would mean them beating Geelong, which is going to be pretty tough from here. So if I go back to the main screen, here we go. That's the video there and then of the AFL tips and predictions for round 6. And I guess I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.